YouTube. How's everyone doing? Jags to Riches, James Peters. Thank you all so much for your time. Wow, been a while, ladies and gentlemen. I could not tell you how much I have missed you all. It has been way too long. I hope everyone is kicking ass, whatever it is that you all are doing in this world. I hope that you have been as incredible as our Boston Celtics have been thus far. Again, I do apologize on my behalf for my absence. The irony, right, of taking a few weeks off right in the midst of your team being the best in the NBA, having a historical start offensively, etc. As far as some people, I know they were asking about Celtics Corner. That, as far as the pregame shows and some of the content there on YouTube, we came out strong to begin the year. And I think just based on not just us, but a lot of content creators across the board in this space were suffering viewership, not getting a lot of views for whatever reason. And I think we were, if you compare us, a few months ago, at the end of last season, most of our streams were getting 100 plus views easily, now to 20 to 30. So I think it was just one of those things compounded with the fact that Bobby was having a lot of success over in TikTok, I think was damn near at 15,000 subs over there, followers over there, million views already. So a lot of success over there, I think just compounded the fact, but I will definitely have to touch bases with him as far as getting something going because a lot of people have been asking. But today, guys, since it has been a few weeks, I'm not going to get down, into everything like deep dive because it would just take forever. I'm just going to kind of go over this incredible season so far, talk about just the overall, just simply a recap, so to speak, their success, some of the player reviews. I mean, it has been, again, a historic offensive start. Jason Tatum, MVP candidate. He's been right up there, top 3 all year. Jaylen Brown, all NBA start. Both of those guys, best tandem, best duo in the NBA, without question, both heading towards an all-star appearance. The bench, though, the rotation, what this team has been able to accomplish when you look at just sometimes throwing Tatum out there with a bunch of guys that last year weren't even really getting minutes, Luke Cornett and Peyton Pritchard, and it's just Sam Hauser, and it's incredible what they've been able to do. We're getting close to a Rob Williams return. Took the trip out there to the West Coast with them. We've got Al Horford re-signing. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla and his incredible start and success. Some trade rumors. I got to address and shout out my guy, Adam Taylor. Came out with an article, heavy.com, talking about a crazy ass trade I want to just, kind of react to. And then, of course, just the rest of the season, just kind of a look forward, if you will. But starting on a sour note, as you know, we played the Golden State Warriors last night in a finals rematch and didn't go so well for the Boston Celtics. We would end up losing 123 to 107. And that was one of those games, for whatever reason, even without Andrew Wiggins, no Al Horford as well, just Jason Tatum he struggles against that team for whatever reason. A tough shooting night. I think it was like 6 for 21, 2 for 9 from the 3, something along those lines. Of course, Jaylen Brown had it going, 31 points, 9 boards. Blake Griffin, starting for Al Horford, he had 13 and 7. Brogdon with 16 off the bench. But Curry and Klay Thompson, Klay has actually been heating up recently, but he had 34 on us. Curry with 32. And again, Jason Tatum he has been sensational. We'll get into everything that he's been able to accomplish. The man's averaging damn 30 plus points right now. So you can't be too hard on him, but there are concerns simply because that is the team that beat us. That's pretty much a measuring stick if you think of it. It's like, how much have you progressed since you lost in the finals a few months back? And not just Tatum, but the team itself defensively, again, some of the coverages, the drop, some of the way they guard these incredible shooters of Golden State are a little questionable. But again, guys, I'm not going to overreact based on the fact, again, this is a team that is 21 and 6 right now. And if you look at the 6 losses, one is to the finals the reigning champ Golden State Warriors. Another is to the Miami Heat, a rival Eastern Conference Finals team. Two others are to the Bulls, who, I mean, that is a playoff team. They've been beating the shit out of us. They have had our number so far this year. And then the other two are to the Cleveland Cavaliers, another team with, high goals. And not to mention 3 out of the 6 have been in overtime. So I'm not going to, condemn this team for losing, what is that, game 4 of a pretty tough road trip that they're currently on right now. I mean, if you think dating back to, what did it start with? A win over Brooklyn, a win at Toronto, a beautiful win against Phoenix, and then, of course, a loss to Golden State. So 3-1 on this trip right now. It's already very impressive with the Clippers and Lakers coming up tomorrow and Tuesday before coming home Friday to welcome the Orlando Magic. Now, I did mention those 6 losses. It's only fair to mention some of the wins. I just said the Phoenix Suns, they were on a 3-game winning streak prior to this Golden State loss. The Suns 125-98, Raptors 116-110. They beat Brooklyn 103-92. We beat Miami right before they beat us 121-134. They beat Luka 125-112, Atlanta 126-101. They beat 2-time MVP Nikola Joker in Denver 131-112. They beat Ja Morant 109-106. When I say historic start offensively, I mean it. Right now, currently the league's best offensive team with a 119.9 offensive rating. Best 3-point shooting team by far, 40%, in addition to averaging 16.6 3-pointers made. That's good for second all-time right now. 6 fewest turnovers in the league, which, as you know, with this team, turnovers were a big concern. And again, they're averaging 120.8 points. That was going into the Golden State game, and that's the best in the last 30 years. The spacing of this team, the ball movement, the off-ball screening that's leading to scoring, in addition to just when you think that you may not get another step out of Jalen or Jason, both the Jays continue to surprise you. Every single season, it seems like these two gentlemen continue to get better. And I know that might say, James, they were what, 24, 25 coming into the season? That's to be expected. You might be right. I mean, but at the same time, when they are playing at the levels that they already were, I mean, Tatum was an all NBA first team last year. Both of these guys are all-stars. I mean, and for them to be doing what they're doing this year, it is incredible. So with both of those gentlemen taking a step, with the addition of Malcolm Brogdon, who, if Tatum is an MVP candidate, you have to talk about Brogdon as a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Obviously, Joe Mazzulla as a Coach of the Year candidate. But, I mean, and it's not just the addition of Brogdon. It is the development and some of these players like the Luke Cornett, the Sam Hauser, who is now, I mean, respected and feared as, I mean, one of the best 3-point shooters in the game. The emergence of Derek White to go with, obviously, Grant Williams. I'm talking about some of their 3-point shooting. Marcus Smart having a career year as a playmaker, averaging 7.5 assists. We'll get to some player stats here in a minute, but you're talking about 5 of their players are currently shooting over 43% from 3, and they are also on pace to set a true shooting record. Malcolm Brogdon, just to spend a second on him, again, 6th Man of the Year, front runner for me. He unlocks just a completely new dimension, a new element for the Boston Celtics. His size, his ability to push, attack, drive, and kick. Not to mention, again, his 3-point percentage, his shooting. We'll get to that in a second. His passing, not to mention, again, with his size comes his ability on the defensive end. This team, I mean, again, the ISO ball, you don't see it as much. The stagnant, it's good. You're not seeing a lot of stagnation. The ball movement, the spacing, and the lack of ISO ball, the pacing. I mean, again, I could talk about this team and what they've been able to accomplish on the offensive end. And if they can continue to improve defensively and get back to where they were at last year, which, I mean, obviously top 2 last year, but there's a gentleman by the name of Rob Williams who is set to return here soon. So quickly getting to Rob, again, he actually took the trip with them out to the West Coast, getting back an all defensive level player, 10 points, basically 10 rebounds last year, 2.5 blocks, one of the best passing bigs in the game, vertical spacing, rim protector. I mean, and what he also does for Al Horford's game, allowing him to actually go into a more natural position for him. It's for a team that is number one in the NBA as far as record and just, stats and accomplishments thus far this season, to get back a player of that caliber is insane. But just briefly, guys, I want to actually pull up some of the Boston Celtics player stats. As I mentioned, Jason Tatum so far this year averaging 30 points. And as you see, the ticker throughout at the bottom has pretty much had the stats playing throughout. But Jason Tatum, again, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. You got Jaylen Brown basically averaging right at 27, 7 and 4. I mentioned Marcus Smart, 12 points. He's having a career year at 7.5 assists. By the way, all of those stats for Jaylen are career highs. 27 points high, 7 rebounds high, assist even is a high. Tatum obviously averaging 30 points. That's a career high. You got Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench, averaging 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. And by the way, shooting 49.5% from three. Some of the other gentlemen, Sam Hauser shooting 45%, Grant Williams 46%, Al Horford 46%, Derek White 41%. And these are on what? 4 attempts. Like, this isn't like they're out there. I mean, Blake Griffin, 1.5 attempts, shooting 50%. But I mean, these guys are out there shooting 4, sometimes even damn near 5 attempts, and are all shooting over 40%. It is absolutely incredible what this team has been able to accomplish so far. And again, the sky is the limit. And when you, again, got a guy like Rob Williams being added to the number one team, it's scary just to think at what they should be able to accomplish if everything continues going as it is. Speaking of Al Horford, we were able to get him to re-sign for a 2-year, right around $20 million extension. I love it. $10 million per season, basically over the next 2 years after that. He'll be, 37, 38, finishing his career with Boston. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get Al a championship. If there's any player that has had a just model, the blueprint of how a career should go as a constant professional, a family man, a constant competitor, an all-star. I mean, Al Horford is he's the kind of guy you hope your daughter marries, man. So shout out to Al Horford. He's been an incredible Boston Celtic, and he's still working towards his Hall of Fame career. What else, guys? Again, the only other thing I'll finish on here, I didn't want to make this too long or drawn out, is I heard my man Adam Taylor. I've got to shout him out directly. Much love, Adam. Hope all is well, brother. But I seen that article in Heavy that he actually mentioned, because there's a lot of concern around Grant Williams and as far as him resigning. I think even in the last time I hosted Celtics Corner, a pregame show, I brought up the Jakob Poeltl rumors, how it looks like he could potentially be on the move. There's obviously ties between San Antonio and Boston, but he's on an expiring, Grant's on an expiring, and Al was on an expiring. And the thought was that all three of these gentlemen are going to be looking for around $15 million a season. They were already able to get Al for 10. That is awesome. So now it's one of those things where there is concern about Grant potentially leaving. He's got ties to Miami Heat, I think is what the rumors are. So in Adam's article, he was suggesting getting ahead of it instead of letting him walk for nothing, trading him to Miami for Bam. But the trade is a 3-for-1, Derek White, Rob Williams, and Grant Williams for Bam. And I don't know if how salaries work out. I know Bam's on a max, but again, I think that is kind of a steep price to pay. I love Bam. You've heard me say many times, I think he's arguably one of the top 3, right behind Joel and Joker. I mean, right there with, 80 and a few others for the next best big man in the world. I love his game. Two-way, star. He does all the little things. He's awesome. I mean, you don't need me to sell you on Bam, especially as much as the Celtics and Heat have battled. But to give up Grant already, who is, I mean, really developed into one of the best 3-and-D a switchable defender, excellent size, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, and is still a young man continuing to get better. And then when you talk about Rob Williams, who is one of the best young centers in the game, one of the best passing bigs, vertical, everything I just mentioned earlier in the video. And oh, by the way, is on one of the best contracts in the NBA. And then Derek White, who, as you see, this is his first full season with the Celtics. And look at how excellent he has been. I mean, another fantastic, two-way guard. I mean, as good as Bam is, I just think giving up all three of those gentlemen is a steep price to pay. And again, they've already been able to secure Al Horford. Hopefully, they're able to just secure Grant, and we continue to build what has clearly been a team that has a championship DNA. All we need to do is continue on this current pace, get healthy with Rob Williams, and I think this team will be just fine. But again, guys, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for your time. It is good to see and hear from you all. I hope that you all are doing excellent and getting ready for your Christmas. Had a great Thanksgiving. And I will be coming back consistently at least once a week, Friday, Saturday. I will be dropping a video every single Friday, Saturday on a weekly basis. We'll see maybe even more from there, but I will get Bobby. I will get with Bobby regarding the pregame shows and see what we can do regarding that as well, guys. But I hope you have an excellent rest of your weekend. We got the Clippers and Lakers coming up to close out this West Coast trip. So let's hopefully finish it out on a 5-1 record before coming back home to welcome the Orlando Magic. Thank you all so much for your time. Jags to Riches, James Peters. Have an excellent rest of your day. Take care, guys.